So, nobody likes to eat flimsy vegetables. We all like them fresh. That is, if we like them. And so today we're going to do a fun, kind of crazy little demo. And a lot of us like to put our veggies in water to keep them fresh. But why do they stay fresh in water? And so we're going to do this little experiment. And we're going to make up a saltwater solution and then keep some water fresh. So we're going to put about 2 to 3 teaspoons of salt into just 2 cups of cool room temperature water. Stir it up, get all the salt dissolved. Takes just a second to get all this dissolved in here. And while I'm doing this, I want you to think about what will happen to vegetables put in salt water versus vegetables put in plain water. Think about it for a minute and write down your hypothesis. Alright, I think we got all the salt dissolved. So while you're writing down your hypotheses, I'm just going to show you, we have some lettuce here. It's a little flimsy, not real crisp. Sorry about that. But it's still lettuce. We have some broccoli, carrots, and some fresh green beans. I'm going to put one of each into each solution. Notice how the carrots sink and the broccoli and green beans float at the top. And I'm going to try to maybe use the lettuce a little bit here to help hold the beans and the broccoli in the water. And now we're just going to let those sit for about an hour. Just set them aside. We'll look at them at the end of class and compare what happens. And about an hour later, this is one that I set up earlier. Here's the lettuce in the saltwater solution. If you can tell, it's really almost slimy, kind of see-through, just really almost nasty. The stuff you just throw out instead of eating. There's no way, even if you like your vegetables, no way you'd ever eat that. And the lettuce leaf that was in the plain water is still pretty darn crispy. If you look at the green beans, there's really no change between either solution. And same with the broccoli. And the carrots, the one in the salt water actually has almost like a slimy feel to it, while the one in the plain water is fairly normal. Not really slimy or anything. I know it's hard to see that, so when we get going with lab in a few minutes, you can come up, if you get a minute, just come up and feel the carrot from the salt water. And so now when you think about it, with us, or if you think about it in terms of osmosis, the concentration of salt outside of the lettuce cells is higher. So the water inside the lettuce leaf cells will actually diffuse out of the cells to try to balance the concentration, thus leading to flimsy lettuce. And the carrots, broccoli, and green beans were just to see what happens, and most likely the cells, maybe if I cut the green beans open, they would have actually showed some flimsiness. The broccoli, even on the stems, there's not much of a difference, so it must be the waxy coating protecting those. Possibly, we'll have to look into that some more. And the carrots, the exposed cells might actually be causing the sliminess. And so then, when we get going with osmosis, we're going to start our egg osmosis lab, and we're going to see kind of what happens to an individual cell. This is kind of the big picture version here with this nasty piece of lettuce where it's all flimsy. But what's actually happening to each individual cell? So be thinking about that while we get started on the egg osmosis. And this is going to be about a week-long lab that we're going to start. And we'll just take measurements every day. And I'd say, I think we're about set for labs, so why don't you go find your stations, get your lab partner, and handouts are on the back table. Go ahead and go grab them.